All right, so here we are in the miracle sessions. So today I bumped up against a paragraph that has to do with freedom, and that was like a snowball taking other parts of the course coming to me, of having them coming to me, and that's what I want to share with you today. Before we do anything, we always take time to really become present here. So to leave everything behind that was happening a moment ago, and see, this is your opportunity to relax and take time to get your day started, or maybe you already had quite a day behind you, and you can relax now and rejuvenate and let that happen to you. So don't forget to breathe and to relax and sit back. It's like we're not trying to accomplish something in this world at all, or we're not trying to do anything else than receiving something. So it's not in that sense, not an action of mind. No, it's really like receiving, opening ourselves up. So that's what we're doing. And that's what the start is of our meditative sessions together. Because this is some meditation. It is becoming aware of the possibility of being completely present in the moment, and being completely present in letting letting the healing come to us. So that is what we say do here. We always say do, but it's not really a doing at all. So it's a stepping back, it's relaxing, it's opening ourselves up. And so you don't need your opinions here, you don't need your judgments, you don't need all the concerns that you carried with you a moment ago. All of that can be gone. You don't need that here in this present moment, because the moment that we're actually getting into is complete of itself. It doesn't need anything that you can carry to it. Now it's more like recognizing the perfection of this moment and seeing that is reflected in everything. So, and that's why I say the theme of freedom is also very, it's really important. It's really part of your awakening to bump up. It might even be your main drive to do this, to really come into a deep experience of freedom. That is quite something, isn't it? Because fear is really constricting. It's really making you feel like you're closed in. Isolation too. It's like, that's not, separation is not a nice feeling, or disconnection is not a nice feeling. So that's why this idea of freedom, freeing yourself from it, or letting yourself be freed from it, is the opportunity that lies in front of us. And so today, a couple of references from the course, but first I will start to share with you this chapter 7 paragraph that I bumped up against today, and a positive bump up. I really like to be confronted with the idea of freedom. From chapter 7, and this is section C, and then paragraph 4. The argument that underlies the defense of freedom is perfectly valid. Because it is true, it should not be fought for, but it should be sided with. Those who are against freedom believe that its outcome will hurt them, which cannot be true, but those who are for freedom, even if they are misguided in how they defend it, are siding with the one thing in this world which is true. Whenever anyone can listen fairly to both sides of any issue, he will make the right decision. This is because he has the answer. Conflict can indeed be projected, but it must be intrapersonal first. So I read parts of it again because, see, there's a lot in it here that we need to take a look at. See, the argument that underlies the defense of freedom is perfectly valid because it is true. It should not be fought for, but it should be sided with. Those who are against freedom believe that its outcome will hurt them, which cannot be true. So those who believe that freedom will hurt them, that be the reason why they are against freedom. Those who are against freedom believe that its outcome will hurt them, which cannot be true. So, and this is like the basic thing that was touching me today. It's like, so if you defend against freedom, then it's like, yeah, that's a mistake. It's really a mistake. And so I was looking at the idea like, okay, so how are we defending ourselves against freedom? That's basically like, to start with, something that raised in my mind immediately was the idea of speech. You will not share everything immediately, maybe. That can be an issue, like you forget to directly express yourself. So, and then actually you don't really feel free to share with what you feel or what you think in a moment in which you are coming together with others, so to speak. Like that is something that I walked around with a lot, like not expressing myself directly, but letting it bottle up and then letting it explode and thinking that was the only way. Like, yeah, how else am I going to do it? That was a very familiar thing for me. So now it is like, actually, that is an act of, say, defending against the freedom to express yourself, to share what you feel like sharing, even just for the idea of sharing it, not necessarily to reach your goal or anything, but just for the very sake of, you have to express yourself. You have to put it on the table, otherwise you're walking around with it all the time. So that is what you don't want. So that was an important, example for me personally. So, and then you might have some too, like, what is your defense against freedom? In what way do you think like, oh yeah, I accept my, say, not being free in that. I accept that for myself. I don't need to change that. And this doesn't need to be changed. So in what moments are you actually allowing yourself to be, say, imprisoned by your ideas? See, and that has a great effect because, see, to be able to move over, to transform, it is like coming beyond your ideas of fear. And so fear and defense are not going well together. Yeah, they actually work well together, but freedom and fear don't work together. So that's why if you don't feel free to take the space that you actually need for yourself to be yourself, if you don't give that to yourself, then you're actually afraid, and you will not see, you will not see what is beyond your fear. You will not see what freedom means. So I remembered one of my, healing moments that I went through was this one, is that I suddenly had shared all my secrets with someone. Like, maybe I used this example before, but it's a great one. Like, I shared my secrets that I didn't share with anyone, that I literally swallowed through. It's like, okay, I'm not going to share that with anyone. When I started to do that, then after that, I felt so relieved that I did, and also how easy it was, that there was no need for me to defend at all. But I got to know a new freedom, and that new freedom was very much like peace of mind. It was spacious. It was very simple and very natural. It's like it was so natural. I couldn't believe it. Like, this is really what freedom is. I don't have to carry around the burden which I carried around for such a long time. So that is that is one example I can come up with, and that's, that is a very basic one, but it is amazing to set yourself free from the burden of not expressing yourself and carrying with you memories that you didn't share with anyone, just because you thought like, well, when I do that, that has big consequences. I'm not sure if I can do that. So maybe you need someone, someone you can really trust to share that with. And you better do, because it's a great experience to come to, say, house cleaning yourself, and seeing that there's a possibility to release the burden that you carry with you. So in that is great freedom. So in fact, this is underlying all of that is the idea that you believe that the laws of the world are defining who you are. You think that that has an impact on you, that it is literally determining what freedom you have. So there's certainly some searching to do for yourself, in which you recognize, oh my God, yes, I'm doing that. I really think that the laws of the world are working on me. Like they determine how I'm supposed to behave or how I'm doing this and that. It's like we'll read in that in lesson 76 too today, a little bit, like also one paragraph. See, but these paragraphs are so full that I decided to keep it really simple today, just getting to the basics. So one of them is then looking at the defense against freedom. Why are you defending yourself against freedom? Because if you don't do that, you're completely free. You're not limited by any idea or any law except, say, the law of freedom, the law of God. So that's really great. So back into our meditation or in our healing moment. Now there's some you got some housework to do. You got some study to do now to recall for yourself what situations you're actually limiting yourself. What is happening? Why am I doing that? Is that really necessary? And how would it be to experience my total freedom? How would that be for me today? So that's a great one too. So we go to the next, reference, and chapter 30, section C, paragraph 5. The world awaits the freedom you give when you have recognized that you are free. That you are free, but you will not forgive the world until you have forgiven him who gave you your will to you. For it is by your will the world is given freedom. Nor can you be free apart from him whose holy will you share. God turns to you to ask the world to be saved, for by your own salvation is it healed. And no one walks upon the earth but must depend on your decision that he learns death has no power over him, because he shares your freedom as he shares your will. It is your will to heal him, because you have decided with him he is healed. And now is God forgiven, for you have chosen to look upon your brother as a friend. The world awaits the freedom you will give when you have recognized that you are free. But you will not forgive the world until you have forgiven him who gave your will to you. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? There's always like, what language is this? How can we know what it says? See, actually, it is given to you. It's like your freedom is your choice. It's like it's depending on you. And it can only be given to you when you give up your will, in the sense, and share the will of God. That's where your freedom lies. And see, there's another one of those. It's like, as long as you think that your will is like the most important will, the law of yourself, so to speak, then you will not experience your freedom. So that's very simplified as I shared now. See, the thing with all of this is that it's like almost like upside down. You can say like it's 180 degrees upside down. So you think that you have to do something for it, to have it for yourself, this freedom, and then see, there's God's law telling you you have to give it to him. You have to give it to him and share it with your brother. In that is freedom. Like in that you experience freedom. See, that's totally different than how we have learned to operate in this world, by trying to fence off our possessions or the things that we came to, accomplishments or status or whatever. We defend it in order to keep it and think that gives us the freedom to enjoy it. See how twisted that is? It's pretty amazing. That's really twisted. So 180 degrees upside down, it is step back out of it, share the will of God with your brother and experience your new freedom. See, and that is, okay, so you have to give up. See, always with defense, it is like the defense against something here in general is, say, the foundation of your separation. That's always, you can always make it like a 3D, in a 3D idea, as like the castle that you're defending, like all my possessions and all my ideas and all my say freedom within my range that I'm define myself. My defense against that, the way that I protect my castle, is really only a limitation for myself. So when I give that up and when I start to share and open the door literally for a different will to come in, and seeing that there was no need for defense at all, but that actually my safety lies in my defenselessness, that I can be completely free in that by not being afraid to share it and not being afraid to express myself and not being afraid to be honest. So that brings it down to earth, in the expression of it. So you wouldn't directly read it in chapter 30 like this, but it's actually just by opening yourself up, receiving what it says, that you see that, oh, this is given in this. So it's much more simple than I think. And it's so because it is, you're so used to the way that you're thinking that to even say consider a thought that's 180 degrees upside down would already be pretty hard. It's the same as if I would ask you to walk on your hands suddenly. That will not be so easy either. So one of the things that I read in between the lines that we were reading was also this. Say, what do you think of this? It's like your little castle is also, your body. So you protect your body, you protect your, say, your possessions, but also your body, because you see it really as a great thing to defend, to use, to really be sure that your identity is kept secure, because you identify with this thing, So that's another one that slipped through the lines and that I really wanted to share with you, because, say, freedom, see, in human terms, freedom was, of course, also that you use your body the way that you wanted it, like you wanted to have relationships just the way that you wanted it, not the way they were given or they were loving. No, you wanted to be able to, whatever your ideals are, you want it to be your way. So now the other way around, in 180 degrees view, it is like okay, so this body is an instrument to communicate and to, say, connect with your brothers, to communicate. And it's a real, say, possibility for communication. And that's about it, And in that, if you use it like that, you can come to know your freedom, because you're not bound by the ideas that you made up for yourself, connected to this thing, So all this is, see, it's all related to the idea of freedom and of self-expression and of the idea that you hold about yourself. So that, it's like, that always comes back in what we share, what we read together. That's so, so unified in that sense. It's all in the undoing. Is it very much like the same story? Undoing of everything that you thought and what you think you were. So, of course, you're going to come, say, bump up against that all the time. Okay, so this is our lesson I wanted to share. It's lesson 76. You know this one very well. I think we used it not too long ago. From lesson 76. Think of the freedom in the recognition that you are not bound by all the strange and twisted laws which you have set up to save you. You really think that you would starve unless you have stacks of green paper strips and piles of metal discs. You really think a small round pellet or some fluid pushed into your veins through a sharpened needle will ward off death. You really think that you are alone unless another body is with you. Think of the freedom in the recognition that you're not bound by any of the strange and twisted laws you have set up to save you. Okay, so I want to take a look at that first. See, the defense has a certain reason. You're not defending yourself just for the fun of it. No, it is really because you think that it will save you and that it will keep you safe by say, conforming to these laws that you made up. That's also a crazy idea, isn't it? It's like, wow, that's unbelievable that we can think that. And we think that that's normal. And we lived by that for such a long time. Now, suddenly in your awakening, you see more and more that it is different, that you can come in touch with a whole different way of looking at everything. See, and we're getting to know that. We're getting familiar with that. So, and then, see, you see that all these laws that you made up are going into every detail of your day. Green paper strips or fluid pushed into your vein, like who didn't have a vaccination, or thinking that it will ward off death. It's like, no, it's all part of the package, and nobody's telling you what to do here. But it's a recognition of the laws that you are familiar with and that you actually are conforming to, or discovering that you don't have to conform to them, or discover a complete new vision around all of that, seeing that in a whole brand new way, that it's not determined by that at all. So that also was just an idea. So here you discover the possibility for the freedom that really is part of you, the freedom that belongs to you, that is the most natural thing for you. Okay, so I think I have one more part of a lesson, one more paragraph. Here's the perfect statement of my freedom. I'm under no laws but God's. I'm constantly tempted to make up other laws and give them power over me. I suffer only because of my belief in them. They have no real effect on me at all. I am perfectly free of the effect of all laws save God's. and his are the laws of freedom. So here's the perfect statement of my freedom. I'm under no laws but God's. I'm constantly tempted to make up other laws and give them power over me. I suffer only because of my belief in them. They have no real effect on me at all. I am perfectly free of the effects of all laws save God's, and his are the laws of freedom. Okay, so during our day, we have an opportunity to apply these lessons, of course. My perception of this shows me I believe in laws which do not exist. I see only the laws of God at work in this. Let me allow God's laws to work in this and not my own. So I'm under no laws but God's. So that's a quick review too. It's just a part of a lesson, but very helpful. I'm under no laws but God's. So that's a line to keep close to yourself. It's like, I'm under no laws but God's. What does that mean? It means that I can see things in a totally different way, totally different than I expected anything to be. It's like, this is the real law I can get in touch with. And the question then, how do I apply that? By becoming more and more aware that is the law of freedom, that's the law that's given to me. That is the law actually at work here, beyond my perception of it. So I can actually see it in a whole different way. And that's what gives me the opportunity to have a new vision. So it's very practical, and it's great to share that with you today in this Miracle Sessions class. So I'm happy that you're here with me and doing this. So now it is okay. So freedom. Yes, I love to experience freedom. So in the awareness that is, say, expanding in your daily life, you have more and more experiences of the freedom that you actually get yourself into. See, and then immediately you also feel in which you still hold yourself back from it. And so these borders or these, so when you actually feel the fear coming up, it's like, oh no, don't touch that yet. You see that there's always something that, that you have to take a look at, or something that comes up just for healing. So, and what I mean by that is basically it's a continuous expansion that you're in. So every day when you start to pick up the book and read a line, you actually say, let the laws of God be taught to you, and seeing that has a direct connection with your experience of freedom. And that is so, that is lovely, but also like it's a continuous practice in that sense. Because your day is full of events and full of encounters in which you continuously decide which law you're going to go for, So every time that you feel like, I'm a bit like I'm limiting myself or something like that, you can really take a moment to stop and to choose again. And it's the same when you actually feel like, oh, look at that, I suddenly can do this. That's pretty amazing. I never did this before. And then it's also good to see that from yourself and say to yourself, like, wow, I did that really well. That's really great that I actually gave myself the freedom to do this, because, hey, this is, it is really step by step that we get familiar with and the possibilities to come to experience freedom. And then it's the same, like that's why the idea of relationships or moments together in which you deeply share something can be really important for you too. Just to to get that load off your heart, so to speak, to set yourself free of the things that you keep walking around with. And yeah, that's a real possibility for experiencing miracles or peace or freedom, or, like a different quality of experience for yourself. And that, you get motivated by doing it and seeing that really is a great help in the continuation of your your transformational or your spiritual path. So that's my offering today for you to take time to look at that and see how you're functioning in your daily life, seeing how these laws, under which laws you are operating, and asking for help if you get stuck in the laws of the world, or sharing your joy when you experience the new freedom that you found inside yourself. So here we go. That is my offering. Thank you so much for being here and taking part in this class. Thank you for that.